A quote from James Gunn about streaming services. It's a terrible, terrible thing for films because we're eating ourselves. People go to movies, big, huge films that suck. They feel ripped off and then they go and watch Netflix. The thing is, when you buy a ticket for a movie, you either win or lose. If the movie's bad, you've lost 2 hours and some money. If the movie's good, you win 2 hours. You go watch 2 episodes of a TV show on Netflix. If you lose 2 hours. But if you win, you gain 32, 60, 100 hours of something that you enjoy. The win-loss ratio is very different.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Punk Rock Horror Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Cody.
And today we're here to remind you that even though things are still a little bit rough, just wear your mask. Just do it.
Come on.
Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't make it weird, man.
Yeah, if you just wear the mask for a few months, then we may never have to wear them again.
May never have to wear them again.
Like, it's crunch time right now. We can do it. Like, we can pull ourselves together.
Halloween's around the corner, man. You think people are joking about wanting to murder you if they can't celebrate Halloween? They're not.
Yeah, it's man. Oh my god, I cannot imagine if Halloween is quote unquote canceled this year.
It's just
dude.
Weird. It's just fucking weird stuff.
I
all
know,
around, man.
Like, think about it. This year, all the major drinking holidays were on or are close to the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, and it's been canceled all year.
Yeah.
Pull your shit together and just wear the fucking mask. You know what? Use the mask as prep for Halloween.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Halloween. Everyone does. So use it as prep for it. Make your mask. Decorate it like Halloween shit. Let's just make it Halloween till Halloween. Wear masks and make it cool.
Through the rest of this year.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Fucking wear your costumes if that makes you feel better wearing the mask. You know why no one's gonna care? Because it's a fucking pandemic and no one's gonna care if you're wearing it.
If you work in an office, fucking go dressed as, the fucking like whoever you want to dress as, and your boss asks you, well, why aren't you wearing appropriate attire?
Yeah, why are you dressed as Sub-Zero?
Hey, look, man, there's an invisible enemy going around that may or may not kill me. I don't know. This could be the end of the world. I don't think it is, but I'm not going to take my chance wearing just another white shirt today. So excuse me if I want to dress like Rainbow Bright right now. Okay? I don't know. Dress whatever you want. I don't know, man. I would be cool with it if it's like Halloween the rest of the year. I mean, why not, man?
It's crazy enough times. Might as well just like costume it up, right?
Just do it.
Like, come on. Like, let your employees costume it up. Like, what's gonna be more interesting? Everyone being very angry they have to wear like their cloth mask and just feel like, oh great, I have to wear my suit now? Or would those meetings be more interesting when you have Pyramid Head, Jason Voorhees over there in the corner, your boss Michael Myers going, all right, gang, we got this. Safety.
Let's be realistic though. Like, if that was gonna happen, like for the independent, like small like restaurants, sure, they'll let anybody dress as they want. But if it's like McDonald's, they're gonna have like, hey, you're gonna dress up in your costumes, but you're gonna dress up as like Ronald McDonald. And I guarantee you McDonald's is gonna see either a weird increase in business or a huge decrease in business, because now all their like people working are dressed as little Ronald McDonald, and who really, I mean,
you know what? They'll increase my business going there if that is the case. Yeah. I mean, they'll probably increase their DoorDash business because everyone's gonna be like, fuck, I can't go see that clown again, man.
Just walks up as a clown dressed.
Yeah. I think there would be a lot more Ronald McDonalds running around town because people would be like, I got a TikTok me being Ronald McDonald against Ronald McDonald. And then there's going to be the horror people that were like, I got it Pennywise this up. But again, costumes bring safety.
Hold on. We're still thinking small scale. Because since they're all going to have to dress as their mascots, there's going to be a war between who's creepier. Ronald McDonald and the Burger King King.
Oh, it's going to bring it back. And then everyone's going to be dressed as either like medieval doctors with the long like face masks and stuff like that, or creepy clowns wearing their balloons on their face and stuff like that. Like, I want this to happen now. This needs to be and then there's going to be Wendy's be like, we can't make people dress as Wendy.
Right.
Like,
So,
that's
like,
a little unfair.
And then, but Taco Bell would be hard because they would either have to literally dress as a bell or dress as the first mascot, the Chihuahua dog, and then at that point you might as well just get the audience from The View. Outdated View joke only on the Punk Rock Horror Podcast because we're that original. I guess. Yeah, it was fucking dumb.
Hey, you know what? I feel like it was original all the way up until that point.
Yeah, it was like, what would have been a better audience to go? I don't know. Who has it coming?
I don't know.
That's a good. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Apply it to whoever you feel is appropriate.
Yeah, I'm just like, I feel like there's so many now. I mean, the wrestling scene is just god awful right now with everything.
Right.
And then there's everything going on with J.K. Rowling.
Which shout out to
Stephen King.
To Stephen King and also to our Lala and Gigi for covering and touching on that on the latest Punk Rock Half Hour Power for LGBTQ episode. I did. So it's just it's what I said, man. Like, horror is the best fucking medium ever because J.K. Rowling can go fuck herself. So, I mean, if that upsets you, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry for upsetting. Yeah, I'm not sorry for saying that to her, but I'm sorry that it upsets you. It's how I truly feel.
I feel like our listeners at this point know we're hard pro LGBTQ. If we're gonna tell someone who's anti that, go fuck themselves. So like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they know we're very accepting. And we're really we're anti-hate.
And besides, like every other pessimist likes to point out, she's already got her billions from everybody, so what does she fucking care if I'm just one other dude telling her that she can go really fuck herself?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean...
it makes us feel better.
Yeah, whatever, man. Like, watch, I'm gonna walk out of your house and, like, J.K. Rowling's just gonna be standing in the street and be like, I heard you talking shit, Gord.
All I know is I would be standing at my door going like, you're my fucking neighbor? What the shit?
She's like, no, I'm not. I'm J.K. Rowling. I actually have an alarm that goes off anytime anyone's talking shit about me. I know exactly where they are.
Can you just teleport? Like, how'd you get here so fast? From England in a pandemic, J.K.
And then she does like a Harry Potter spell, and then we just interrupt and be like, no, you charged it.
No, stop it.
Like the magic just blows up in her face. So moving on to more things. It's talking about like a horrific ending to J.K. Rowling in my little story there.
Yeah.
A little tangent, but going on with the horror of everything we're talking about that is also fictional, we're going to go talk about some news that's happening in horror this week. So, a few interesting things that you might have already heard of, or maybe this is the first time you're hearing of it, so we're just going to go over like 5 articles and talk about it. So starting with it, so Netflix kind of getting back up there on what got them so big, which is just like really kind of focusing on like a good niche that worked for them, which was obviously bringing movies to people. Now they're actually bringing more original content and actually trying to hear more what people are talking about, what they want to watch and want to see.
Yeah, because their original content has like gotten better.
Yeah,
like I honestly, like, it's gotten a lot better. It's come a long way from House of Cards.
Yeah.
You know, because that really put their original content series on the map. Even though
things happened.
And then Taint. God damn it! Get your cells together, Hollywood. Jesus Christ.
Put it back in your pants.
Yeah, seriously, fucking consent. You know, then they came out with the Marvel series and everything. Like, that was top notch.
Yeah.
I will argue they are all quality.
Yeah.
You know, we've said our piece on Iron Fist. Many times.
I will argue that show to fucking oblivion. I swear to God.
I love it. I love that show.
Like Jessica Jones is great and all, but fucking I love Iron Fist. Just I don't know.
But you know what I mean. Like, anyways, and then they had a dip. They definitely had a dip in content quality.
So. Well, coming back to it with like the original content they're coming out with, so announced today, and today I'm saying by the time we're reporting this, which is July 3rd, Netflix is bringing Hamish Steele's horror comedy graphic novels Dead and Denia to the small screen of Netflix itself, adapting all these tales in the form of a 2D animated series. Steele will serve as a showrunner of the upcoming series. So to kind of give you a quick image of like what this looks like, this is the very like Steven Universe type of like art style. So it's really got that comfort already there. The series has voice talents such as Zach Barak, Kavitha, Emily Osmond, Alex Brinkham, Miss Coco Peru, Kenny Tran, and even Catherine Kavari on the set, just to name everybody who's going to be behind this. But what the show is about itself is Dead Adenia is about terrifying demons, vengeful ghosts, and mysterious magic. It is also about coming of age in a world that wasn't made for you. It's a drama about found family, identity, and making mistakes. Steele said in a statement, "I have always dreamed of making the show I needed as a lonely, horror-obsessed, closeted gay kid, and thanks to Netflix and our ridiculously talented, diverse, and representative writers, room and crew, we have shot way past my dreams into the wildest fantasy territory." So you can expect Dead Adenia to come out sometime in 2021. If you want to know more about it, I definitely recommend that you check out Blaze Disgusting's a report on it from John Squires. He did a really, really great job and has some great content to go with it. But yeah, I'm
excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, I'm for it, man. I
am. Their horror content series has been really, really good.
Hold on.
What? I'm just saying. Sabrina was fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta hold old Eli against them. No, I'm doing it.
I said series.
It still counts.
I didn't say movie.
Still counts.
I didn't say movies.
I'm holding it.
No, they're series. The series.
Just saying.
Their movies haven't been the best. The series have been good. Sabrina. I'll argue Hemlock Grove is fucking fantastic. Okay. I think that was pretty good.
Was Hemlock Grove a Netflix original?
Yeah.
Why do I always think it's like Amazon for some reason?
No, that was OG Netflix though. That's why. It was like around when Amazon first started streaming American Horror Story.
Oh,
is when Hemlock Grove came
I remember
out.
that. Okay, you're right.
And then and then Lock and Key has been good.
Oh yeah.
Good horror series.
I forgot. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
fine.
3 right there.
Fine. Asterisk. Fine. I'll give it to you. Going into
Hannibal now.
Okay.
Lucifer.
I got it.
Even though that's a certain niche.
Okay.
That's a certain
hold
niche.
on. Lucifer is only considered horror because it's about the fucking devil.
Okay.
But I'm just saying the context of the show begs to differ, in my opinion. But hey, you know what? Whatever, man. I guess Twilight's considered horror.
Yeah. So there you go.
I consider it horrible, but whatever.
Oh.
Now go fuck yourself. Lucifer, whatever, man. I don't give a shit.
I was just saying.
I'm not being forced to. Well, I was never forced, but I'm not standing in a lineup to go see a premiere of Lucifer. So whatever. My anger's a little biased, I guess.
Moving on.
So, with everything being remade, I mean, I keep coming up with examples every time we report on something being remade, but I just keep in mind this year is the year of shit that's coming out that's been remade and that's going to be remade and going to be talked about being remade. So more things that we're talking about.
Especially because that's all that can happen.
Well, at least kind of a remake. So, just jumping into it. So, there's going to be a Village of the Dam adaptation for television. So, kind of going into a little bit more. The Midwich Cuckoos, the original novel that was inspired by Wolfe, realized Village of the Dam, and John Carpenter's 1990 horror film of the same name, is now being adapted once again, but this time as a series. So, as reported and found out from a few sources from Bloody Disgusting itself, David Farr, the British writer behind The Night Manager and Hannah, is developing an 8-part adaptation of John Wyndham's sci-fi novel for Comcast-owned European broadcaster Sky, Deadline reports. Going into the article a little bit on more from Bloody Disgusting, there's a quote as well talking about it saying, Wyndham's 1957 story centers on the sleepy English village of Midwich, where a strange sequence of events culminates in communities, women falling pregnant with alien children with glowing eyes and otherworldly powers. The remake itself is housed at ITV Studios, back to Route 24, which is run by Arlington Road producer Mark Samuelson and Snowden Productions, the sister company of Bronte Film and Television, which produces, sadly enough, J.K. Rowling dramas, including The Casual Vacancy and Strike. So depending on where your ethics lie with that, I'm kind of struggling with it too. I mean, I was never a Village of the Damned fan. I appreciate it for its cultural significance and especially its significance in horror. But with just like who's producing it and who, the fact that they've helped with J.K. Rowling before, that's definitely kind of, you got to be like a specific thing. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to not watch it. But at the same time, if you are open to it, just if you've been to all the other remakes, I will tell you keep an open mind to it. I mean, it's Village of the Damned. It's one of the few franchises of horror that like haven't been touched on since like maybe a Simpsons episode, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
yeah, it's been a while. I mean, there's been like terrible Village movies since then, but not really Village of the Damned.
Yeah,
I don't think.
So I don't know, man. It
shows how much we followed that series.
Well, it was never one that really caught my attention. Like it's not that it was ever bad. I never thought it was bad. It was great. It's just it wasn't. It had a hard time keeping my attention.
Yeah,
like
it's not our thing.
It's just not our thing. So, but there's not much else known about that. So we'll report on it if we find any more articles about it or as we hear. But on to more things a little more exciting. So, with Scoob coming out and kind of bringing a new light to the series, regardless of how you feel about the voice acting in that, it's probably one of the longest, if not the longest, running cartoon series ever. I mean, started in the 60s, it definitely, hit a bell with us with its movies and its new, style, especially pup named Scooby-Doo, and then now it's, hitting a new generation too. Like, my kid loves Scooby-Doo, like, she actually loves the show and will watch it. What are you doing? Where are you, Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, same with Audrey, she loves it.
Yeah, so, like, things that are kind of really exciting about this, though, is that the gang is going to team up with a new horror icon to battle evil pumpkins and DC's own Scarecrow in the new animated movie, Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo. And again, this is one that I'm kind of surprised that hasn't been done before, just because, like, it just kind of like, oh yeah, why didn't you team up with this person before? But it's kind of, I'm glad it's happened now, but they're teaming up with Elvira. Yeah.
Elvira?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually good.
Our one and only Mistress of the Dark.
That's also weird for Elvira to be fighting a Batman villain.
Well, check out the voice cast, man. It's going to have Frank Welker as Scooby-Doo, Greg Griffin as Daphne Blake, Matthew Lillard himself as Shaggy.
Nice.
Kate McCusey as Velma Dinkley, and the film will also star the one and only Cassandra Peterson as Elvira, of course, and Bill Nye himself. So, the film was written, produced, and directed by Maxwell Adams, and it's, since it's going to be Happy Halloween, it's probably going to be a release date in October.
Yeah.
But, it's
maybe
honestly,
early November.
It's kind of sad, but it's something wholesome I really look forward to.
I'm really excited about it.
And it's Matthew Lillard as Shaggy, and it's Elvira, and it's just sweet, man. The Sci-Fi Wire has already shared the trailer for it, so if you want to look it up right now, you can view it. But it's, like I said, they're even going up against Monsters, Pumpkins, and DC's own Scarecrow, so...
it's a weird pairing.
I mean, they've had Batman and Robin and the Super Friends.
No, I know, but to have a Batman villain in a movie without Batman...
He's only showing up for Elvira. Who wouldn't, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So in news that because we did give them some love before, and we do want to report on them because they are actually a good developer that we enjoy here at the Punk Horror Podcast. Tripwire Interactive's Killing Floor 2 will now become available for free. Well, for a week at least.
Yeah.
On the Epic Game Store. So, yeah, I know, that kind of approached that with a little, it's already on Steam with a handy 67% discount on it right now. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and Killing Floor 2 will be free from July 9 to the 16th, just to point that out too. But also, just anybody who did get, like, the Epic Game Store, you're now going to be able to actually jump on the Killing Floor 2 train that's been around for, actually 4 years now.
Yeah, do it. It's a fucking great game.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
It came out in 2016, and we've talked about this game. It's a very Left 4 Dead-esque type of game, mixed with, like, COD zombies, as if you would. There's gore, there's blood, there's over, I don't know, probably like 80 weapons at this point.
Yeah, well over that.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's what, 10... almost 10 classes, close to 10
there's
classes.
Like 10 or 12 classes.
Yeah, and then each one has at least 10 guns.
So if you haven't jumped on the Killing Floor 2 train, go ahead and do it. I mean, again, if you're not in the Epic Game Store, it will be available for, July 9th through the 16th, so make sure you check that out. And just, yeah, it's a fun game, man. Like, Tripwire Interactive is one of those few game developers that will happily report on just because they know how to take care of their customer base. It's one of the few that I will actually buy in-game content from because they know, because they've actually cared enough to put in the time to figure out how to balance it. Especially, I mean, it's a co-op game, so it's not like, you know, it's you can do verses in it, but even
there's not a whole lot of verses. Like, if you're looking to do verses, like the lobby, you might be sitting in the lobby for a bit, but like this, even playing by yourself, if you're like a single player person, like I enjoyed the game for, I don't know, 2-3 years by myself.
Yeah, like
it's fine playing like that, or playing with randos online. It's really fun.
Yeah,
like it's a really great zombie shooter.
Yeah, it's
mutant shooter. They're not really zombies.
Yeah, well, we can count it. They walk undead.
They call them Zeds.
Yeah, because they're deads.
Should be face.
So check it out. Get on the game. It's fun. You're not gonna regret it. I guarantee it. It's a pretty great ride. But to finish out on horror for this week, so more Stephen King news. Mike Flanagan says his adaptation of Stephen King's revival will be bleak and mean. So again, as reported from Bloody Disgusting, which they did a great job just reporting on it. When he went to talk about it, he went on to say what I love about it, it's a return to cosmic horror, which I think is so fun. It's relentlessly dark and cynical, and I'm enjoying the hell out of that. This is just a bleak and mean, and I like it for that. I haven't gotten to end a movie that way since Absentia, maybe Ouija. This one was a really fun piece of material for me because I got to be like, oh you want a dark ending? Okay, cool, get ready. I will be very curious to see if they let me make it. Flanagan did add this in an interview when he was on told the podcast that Blood is Disgusting holds. Or no, not Blood is Disgusting. I'm so sorry. I got my notes mixed up on that one. Speaking with the King cast this week, I apologize. Flanagan teased this in their interview with them, and you know it's just kind of exciting to see that more Stephen King stuff, especially cosmic horror stuff, is coming to the forefront. I mean, it's all about the fact that like Eldritch lore is being tapped on. I mean, Sabrina,
I like that there's more coming out.
Kind of going off a little bit, like little off to the side here. Like Sabrina basically is touching into that with their third season. Chilling Adventures with that, and the fact that we've had Prefla game come out, and I'm saying Prefla in the sense that in the past few years, it's not like we had a lot come out like this many, but
they came out with Sinking City, oh my god, literally Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Heart of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu. Jesus Christ. Call of Cthulhu came out.
Yeah.
Tesla versus H.P. Lovecraft is a twin stick shooter that came out, which is fun. That's one of my favorite games. But like a lot of them, and then like a new turn-based like XCOM style game called Cthulhu Achtung or something like that. It's like I think you play as like the eldritch creatures and you're killing Nazis.
Yeah. So I mean, man, there's been a real like love for. I mean, and we obviously did our coverage of it too. So if you haven't checked that out, you should. Plug again, man. It's just really kind of exciting to see that like cosmic horror is finally getting more touched on this time around. And keep in mind, the book Revival came out in 2014. It was published by Scribner, and the novel focused on the relationship between a heroin addicted musician and a dubious faith healer with a hidden agenda. The minister is obsessed with trying to find a way to communicate with his departed wife and child, but ends up connecting to a Lovecraftian horror. So, really exciting all around, and I mean that's really kind of all we got for news. But the last thing I'm going to touch on, though, that we kind of talked about was Marvel's acquisition, and this was actually before we started recording. Is we talked about Marvel's acquisition of the Alien versus Predator series in general, and just Alien and Predator.
And I was so excited. I'm actually excited about it, even though I'm a little disappointed that DC didn't get the comic rights.
Right.
Just because, if you guys haven't listened to it, or not listened, read the DC crossover with Dark Horse doing the comics, like Superman versus Predator, and Superman versus Alien,
right,
Batman versus Alien, Batman versus Predator, they're fantastic. You should try and find them. But like, just because they had those. Like, that's why I'm a little disappointed, but I'm really curious to see, like, Marvel in them. Like, see the Guardians of the Galaxy versus Alien.
Right.
Holy crap, I want to see that.
So, well, I mean, there's... Okay, so a few things to unpack there. One, it's not... I hate to say it, but like I see why they went with Marvel instead. I mean, in the end though, they had a great crossover with Batman and one with Superman.
Okay, the Alien crossover with Superman is my favorite. Like, I think that was the best one.
Well, but see, that's what I mean. It probably didn't pull in enough money for them to warrant it still. And so I made this point that like Marvel is with because they have their own studio and because of the type of movies they make, they could definitely make an over the top action, Predator movie, which that's what the most recent one was, and nobody liked that. But I bet they think they could probably do it with a more horror aesthetic to it. That would probably garner more money, or if they can make a series with it, it'll be something to garner more attraction to fucking Disney Plus. And if not that, then the point being though is just
I hope they actually take it on the more horror route.
Yeah,
like I really do. I really want to see Marvel's take on horror, because like, I mean, their first trailer for Venom showed the potential that they could have doing a horror movie.
Well, we would if they came out with the Runaways, but
yeah, I know
we get it. I mean,
or New Mutants.
Or no, the New Mutants is what I meant, not the Runaways. Sorry, because Runaways is not. Runaways is on Hulu, but it's not horror. It's good.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. If they came out with New Mutants was supposed to be a horror movie, but like, I really do want to see Marvel's take on it, because they've done good with action, they've done good with comedy.
Yeah.
Okay with drama, like if it's there.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you could kind of argue Iron Man 3.
Like no, not at all. Fucking Logan.
Yeah, well, that's not even Marvel. That was Fox.
I'm counting it. So, point being, though, is that when in doubt, it's Disney, so they'll do it up somehow. They'll figure it out. But I still love the idea of just, like, a Predator movie with musical now in it. Just, he's, like, it's like a young Predator 2 who's just, like wakes up just, like, whoa! And, like, his Predator...
dad kicks down the door and is like, go get scalping!
Well, no, it's because it's Disney. It has to be more wholesome than be like, good morning, son. Today's a bright day for scalping. And so he's just
Dad, do I have to get the skulls?
And so it's gonna be him like as a kid, right? So it's a Disney film, keep in mind. So they're going hunting, and this is like the actual Predator movie. Fucking watches his dad like just fight for the very end, because he actually thinks that like so his perspective is the movie's perspective, where they're like, Arnold's just like, oh my god, he's hunting us. Right? Like, so that's the one that we're used to. But really it's like, careful son, we promised that we would protect these villagers from these drug lords. Oh no, what is this, reinforcements? I'll fight them, son. And so he just sees this battle go out, right? And so, like, he finally sees, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, kill his dad. Like, because he thinks it's just the one Predator, but really his son's been helping the entire time, so that's what we don't see. But his son doesn't get to his dad in time to save him. And so, like, sees his dad blow up, and he's just like, years pass, and so like now he's just like hanging in a tree and has like a little locket with his dad's picture holding him. Right? And so he's like, I'll never forget, Dad. And so like he finally sees people walking, and so like then here comes like the orchestra music and just like the simple just like playing like nice songs, and just here it comes, and it's just, am I a monster? Am I a hunter? I am killing, but is it for me or my family? Am I angry or am I sad? Who am I since I lost my dad? I don't know. Who am I? And he's just like scalping dudes, like stabbing guys in the face, like fucking loading dudes with lasers, and just like blowing dudes up at the same time. Like heads are flying everywhere, their spines being hanged up, and he's just like, he has like two heads finally like hanged up via their spine, and he just like pokes through them, like his hands between the two heads, just like, who am I? Who am I?
I'd pay to watch that.
You're welcome. You can send me a paycheck, Disney, Marvel, whoever.
Oh my god!
I'd pay for. I'd go back to Disney Plus for that.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Who am I?
The new Disney princess. Since the alien is now a Disney princess.
Yeah. See, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a queen.
That's true.
So, is there... I gotta brush up on my predator lore. Is there like a king or queen predator or whatever?
No, so you have your main predator colony.
Right.
And so they're all different colonies
so it's like
of
the
predators.
Mandalorians.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, because there's all different types of predator colonies, and so they're all most of them are hunters.
Got it.
And so then they go and hunt like the biggest game, and then sometimes they cross paths with they touched on it in Predators. They cross paths with different clans and they battle and stuff like that. Who's going to be the Alpha clan and stuff. Like, there's a really good series, I think it's called Blood and Stone.
Yeah.
That's all about the giant battle of clans between the Predators and stuff like that.
Oh, toy.
Yeah, it's dope.
I'm gonna put that up, man.
You should do it. And also the AVP comics are fantastic. The one I just read, which connects Prometheus, which makes me super sad that they killed off all the engineers.
Yeah.
But in the comics, there's a predator hunting an engineer because it's the most alpha creature.
Yeah.
In the entire universe, and he battles other aliens and predators and humans and stuff. It's really cool.
That's tight, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what's happening in horror this week. Thank you for following along with my little tune there. I hope it inspired some sicko out there. You
gotta get someone to animate it.
I'm
gotta get him to do it.
Freddie might. I'm hoping Freddie hears that. And
Come on, Freddie.
It is just I'm totally making this a thing. I hope so, and I really hope. I don't know.
I think it'd be great.
I'm just glad that I did that on the spot. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I know. I was impressed.
Thank you.
Damn.
Thank you.
That was good.
See, I watch enough Disney to have an opinion to not like Disney.
All right. I didn't say you had to like Disney.
Okay.
But speaking
Put your hands up.
Yeah, speaking of Disney Plus, and also we just talked about Netflix and the Netflix content, let's talk about streaming services. Because that's what we're here to talking about, and how it can benefit, and also hurt horror, or can it help horror and stuff like that.
Can it though?
But before we talk about
can
how yes, I think it can. I believe it can.
No.
So
we're gonna talk about it.
So that's my opinion. But before we get there, I got to talk about a little bit of the history of streaming. And so here's a quick little brief history of how streaming came to be. So
you could say that you're gonna have to start from episode 1 and rewind to talk about the history. Okay, I'm sorry. I was gonna try to pun that. That was reaching even for me. I give up on it.
We could have just done this over Skype.
I'm already too invested into driving up here, so now we're doing this way. But I guess I'll go home and we'll continue on Skype, Cody. No, don't support me in my terrible joke. I'll just go home and I will go on Skype and we'll record the last half hour of this. And Leo's gonna be like, why does it sound weird for the first half and then sound weird for the other half?
Why doesn't it match up?
And I'm gonna have to tell him because I made a terrible joke, and I didn't even make the joke. I gave up on it halfway. I'm gonna bring it back, and then I'm just gonna have to just let my pride die in front of Leo that. You really happy with that, Cody?
I can live with it.
I don't agree with your methods, but damn it, I love the results.
All right, so streaming. So a quick little history of streaming. So we have to go all the way back in time to 1916, where radio broadcasts outside of military and maritime was used, and maritime was used in 1916 when Wisconsin used Morse code over radio waves to tell weather patterns, and would evolve exponentially over the next few years into regular broadcasting. And around 1920, U.S. Major General George O. Squier found and perfected a way to transmit and distribute signals electronically to reproduce sounds. A decade later, Squier formed the Muzak, which everyone will know Muzak. Muzak will never go away until the end of time. Because that is our elevator music, that is our lobby music, that is all your on hold music.
What is it?
Muzak?
Yeah. More like Muzak.
Yeah. So General George O. Squier is the creator of our elevator music.
Wow.
The true horror of everything.
Like, but I don't know, man. I mean, well, it's not like. How is this music still used for, like, hold music, though? Like, because every time I put on hold, like, it's just some, like,
well, no,
like radio song.
Yeah,
like,
back then,
in the day,
like,
yeah,
I
just, like, I think it's kind of like a mind-blowing moment that I'm having right now, because it's just like, I've always listened to that music, and I was just like, it was just kind of something that just like played in my subconscious because I hear it so much that I never thought that it actually belonged to a human soul.
Yep.
That a human being could make something so monotonous.
Yep.
Like, I never thought, like, I sound so mean right now, and I'm really not meaning to.
It's just because he perfected how to transmit and distribute signals electronically. Yep. So the elevator music that we listen to is the very first electronically reproduced sounds, and all the way back to 1920. And so July 1928, the first regularly scheduled television service begins, but the progression of TV tech is hampered because the bigwigs of the service didn't see the commercial benefits at the time, because it was still radio,
right?
You know, and just like the development of the internet and streaming, everyone was like, it's just a fad, you know. Like when DVDs were first coming out, it's just a fad. Like they didn't see the progression of actual technology. But after World War II, more broadcasting companies popped up and more content surfaced for TV, and by 1962, about 92% of American households had a television set. Streaming text developed alongside the development of TV. So streaming text is your closed captioning, subtitles, stuff like that. So for the deaf, of course. Streaming in the modern era. Modern streaming didn't pick up until the 90s. Modern streaming's been around since the 90s.
How so?
Music. Like, that's where it started off.
I know, like...
but, like, I mean... You know, like Napster, Apple...
Oh, yeah,
like, all those companies...
LimeWire. Whoever was brave enough to get their computer aids.
Yeah. But, and this was the start of the downfall of, like, movie rental places and stuff like that, was in the late 90s, Netflix dropped, and it started off as a DVD mail-in service. For those who are old enough to remember, DVDs could get mailed to your house, like from a streaming service, and kind of like GameFly and stuff like that started coming around. But then in 2007, this is when everything changed. Netflix decided to start streaming their content, and so that was the beginning of streaming content over the internet and everything. And then Hulu dropped the same year. 2011 saw Amazon Prime Video service was dropped. And then, of course, more recently, I mean, there's a bunch in between, and then more recently, 2019, Disney Plus dropped, and then in 2020, HBO dropped its third revised streaming service because they had so fucking many. But HBO Max came down. So, just to go back to the cold open, I quoted James Gunn, and that was in an interview when he was talking for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was coming out. Yeah. And they asked him about, you know, like what's his opinion on, it was literally his opinion on Netflix. And I agree with that because for me, I had a couple pros and cons that I put out for streaming. I'm pro streaming because in my opinion, you only have to pay one price for basically never ending content. Or let's, pay for a subscription, so you have to pay every month. And then content creators, like, they have a potential to reach millions of people to watch their content. Right. You know, like by getting their content on these streaming services. There's something for everyone. Like there's on Netflix, there's a bunch of horror on there. There's a bunch of comedy. Same with Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO, and stuff like that. And then, of course, there's horror subscription services like Shudder. And then the price for a subscription is actually cheaper than going to the movies. Like,
yes.
I pay $16 a month for one subscription service. I go to the movies one time and it costs me upwards of like $50. And then again, just like what James Gunn said, there's a chance that you might not even like the movie. And also, it can give a second life to a series or movies. Like, for instance, we talked about Lucifer earlier. It's gotten second life on Netflix by being a Netflix original now, and has been able to get renewed seasons.
So a few things first here. Like, when it comes to horror, it's been around for fucking forever.
Yeah.
We know that. But it's also been on streaming services for just as long.
Yeah.
Because if we really want to get, like, into the thick of it, technically, War of the Worlds was...
Yeah, I was going to say, George R. Wells' War of the Worlds was the first, like, big, major horror thing.
Now, it wasn't vastly
Like, on the
different in
radio.
context. Yeah, like, no, like, you could argue the subscription they were paying was their electric bill, but... I mean,
no, but
that, like even that's like reaching as an example. But point being is this like it was.
Well,
it
no,
was
that's the history.
Yeah.
We're talking about the history of.
But now it's on demand streaming services, which is that significance. But coming, with that in mind, though, man, is that one thing that I want to point out that makes me lean towards streaming services, but I think is kind of hard to argue against it without being biased, is that we grew up in a generation where theaters got bigger. It was...
Oh, we did. Where, like, going to the theater was a thing. I mean, back in high school, like, fucking, it was, like, I used to have a monthly time where all of us got together every month and went to the theater and went out to dinner. Then we went and watched a movie, or we watched the movie and went out to dinner,
it was date nights, it was family nights, it was, it was hanging out with friends. Yeah. I mean, it was...
That was always the perfect first date, was going to the movies.
And unfortunately, with the rise of theater, we saw the fall of the drive-in, which, even though now we are seeing a resurgence of it, which
I wonder why.
Which I'm super, super happy about. But
I am too. No, I love the drive-in.
Point being, though, is now streaming services are coming in, now threatening the existence of theaters. And so when you see, how the movie industry responded with the epidemic by charging in-theater prices for movies, where... Keep it in mind, when you're paying $20 to see a movie, you're not paying $20 to see that movie. You're paying $20 to also pay the theater that is showing the movie. Yeah, like you're taking they take a portion of it too. Like the movie doesn't get as much from your ticket sale.
No, that's why they have to sell millions.
Yeah, Whereas coming back to a streaming service, there's not as much importance there. It's more how many people are watching and how much of a revenue we can take from streaming services at that point. Yeah, depending on the streaming services, because some do also make revenue via sponsorships and all that jazz. But the other thing I want to point out about this, though, to add on to what you're talking about, is that I will argue that streaming services are great for the indie scene. But keep in mind, I've never done an indie film, and so I don't know how some of our indie directors and people would be on here, but I feel just from my perspective it'd be greater, because it's, unless you are somebody who strictly goes out for indie movies, or you go to like a theater that only plays indie movies, you're basically...
Which are kind of few. I mean, they had a small resurgence over the last few years, but they're still few and far between.
Well, A24 is one of the big companies that has made a good for themselves from great indie flicks. But, that aside, is what I'm trying to say is, like, you would basically have to wait until the movie came out on DVD to watch it, or, via Netflix. So now that, now that corporations like Netflix are wanting to team up with more indie projects and make more indie stuff, it gives a better chance to these people that have, wanted to bring a film to the theaters, who are instead settling for streaming services. Now, that part I can't weigh of how good of pros and cons it is, but I do think it gives a more secure chance for people to actually watch your content. Even though... Again, keep in mind, we've had directors on here who have talked about the struggle with that too. So it's...
Well, I was going to say, that's actually some of my cons, because I did make some cons as much as I am pro streaming.
Yeah, so...
Like, I was going to say, but...
Bring it in, sorry.
But one last pro is, like, especially when it comes to, like, the movie, like, seeing in movies, how many times, especially, like, you and me alone, have we, like, seen a trailer for a movie and we're like, I'm going to wait for Netflix. Like, I'll wait to watch it on Netflix before, like, and stuff like that. And like, I mean, me personally, as much as I love going to the movies, like, we're also in a time where, before all the craziness of this year has happened, like, I was in point, like, even though I was kind of comfortable with money, I still felt like going to the movies was super expensive, when I was like, I'll just wait for Netflix.
Right.
But again, so I do have some cons. one of the biggest cons that everyone predicted was going to happen, and it's still a big issue now. And it's like, I mean, I know it's going to like collapse at some point, it has to, but there are way too many streaming services to choose from.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, because, like we said, we have your Netflix, you have your Hulu, you have your Disney Plus, you have your Amazon Prime, you have your HBO Max. And yeah, you can, like, a lot of them are doing deals where you can combine them, like Disney and Hulu have a thing where you can combine those prices, so you're not paying $15 for each.
And with stuff like HBO Max, they have like a shit ton under their name.
Yeah, and you know, and they're gonna do that same thing. But like at the same time though, you still have to choose between like Netflix, HBO Max, or Amazon Prime or Hulu. Like there's still those choices, but then you still have Apple TV, CBS I think still has its own streaming service. DC Universe has their own streaming service at the moment for the time being. But, like, there's still a bunch of Shudder, Crunchyroll. Like, there's still a shit ton of them. And it's like, and if you want, and then, like, you know, you have to, like, pick and choose because content exclusivity can ruin a service and makes people pick and choose because of that, it can cause the bill to add up to subscribing to so many of these services. Like, I love Star Wars and stuff like that, so I want to be on Disney Plus. And they have all the Marvel movies, but I also love a lot of the Netflix content because I feel like they have a lot of good quality content, so I love to subscribe there and subscribe to Hulu, you know, and that adds up. $15 each a month can add up.
Right. And then at that point though too, man, what about the streaming services that are like solely dedicated to like a genre?
Like Shudder.
Shudder. Sorry, you said you said. I heard you say the S in Shudder, and I was gonna follow up with Udder, but I couldn't process it. I couldn't like say it as fast as I was wanting to process it. You know?
Yeah, no, like Shudder, and like that's a great like horror exclusive thing. But it's like it's hard to justify paying for just that when you're paying for everything else, and it sucks because Shudder's fucking great.
I mean, I will still say that if you're a horror fan, you can afford it. It's like $5.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being judging. I'm not being not being judging. But if the argument is, oh, it's too expensive, then I'm gonna say, dude, it's $5. You're probably paying like 11 for like Disney Plus or like 15 for HBO Max if you're on that. Netflix is now like, what, isn't Netflix like 10 or 11 now?
No, it's 15 now.
Oh, okay, so even then, so so Shudder, it's only $5. It's only a $5 add-on if you have an Amazon Prime account. I didn't know it was that much of a concern to you.
But yeah, Jesus, who are you arguing? Who hurt you?
So many people, Cody. So many people.
But yeah, I mean, no,
really, it was just the older lady at the checkout. She would just not see my point of view.
I'm sorry. But then going back to, you know, our indie directors and our indie creators on that we've had on the show and stuff, that's also like one of the biggest cons for them is there's so much content on these streaming services, it can be really hard for them to get their content seen. While they have the potential to have millions of people watch it, you know, it's still like having to get word around because like, you know, Netflix, of course, when it's coming out with its own content, like it's a Netflix original series, it's gonna have trailers for it. There's you know, you're gonna see commercials and whatnot for them online and whatnot, ads for these movies and shows. And then of course you're gonna see them on Netflix. Of course, you know, it's like, here's the top 10 things people are viewing, and it's like, here's our Netflix exclusives, you know. So it's harder to get the indie stuff out there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm still pro streaming service because I just think that's the way, not even before the whole pandemic, I just feel like that's the way to go. And I feel like there's a lot of really quality horror on there. It's been so beneficial for horror because horror has this like way of touching all kinds of different ways and walks of life, and it has ways of showing it. And I feel like with the access of the streaming services, instead of having to like try and get your horror movie it has to be like Jason Voorhees to get on the silver screen or something like that, or it has to be a replica of Michael Myers. Instead of having to create, you know, that, you can create your own and then stream it. So I feel like there's so much more content of ability to see better quality horror out, like because of streaming services, and for people to get their stories told through these movies.
Well, to even expand on what you're talking about, man, like even Hulu like has its own like dedicated series to horror called Into the Dark.
Yeah. Which has been really, really good too. Like there's some good stuff on there.
And like I told you about it. Like one movie that they just came out with at the time of this recording is called Good Boy, and it's actually really good. Like it's not terrible. Like it's definitely not my type of film. Like I know I'm not its demographic, but I enjoyed it still. Like because it was really gory and over the top, and like it was a good movie. Like they have ones called like Puka Lives and Puka, and then like another one that's basically an homage to Grabbers. It's Grabbers, right? It's the Irish horror film.
Yeah, Grabbers.
Yeah, where they have to be like drunk in order to like okay, it is Grabbers. No, it's Crawlers. That's it. So the
Grabbers is the Irish movie.
Yeah, no. Crawlers is the homage. Is the one I'm talking about. It was written. It was an Into the Dark film from Hulu, and it's the same premise for the most part. But I take it as an homage to it. I don't know if it was intentional or not. But I mean, the streaming service is a very iffy kind of like ground to navigate on. I mean, I'm for it if it is mostly being used to like actually bring in indie directors, indie creators, these people that have been trying to make their way into modern media and Hollywood, but just haven't been able to. Like, if Netflix or Shudder or Amazon, Hulu, HBO Max, or who have you can give them a shot and they can actually, prove them, then great. I mean, A24 has done it. They've done it with a lot of people that no one's ever heard of. I never knew of Ari Aster until Hereditary. Yeah. And then I actually looked into more of what Ari Aster does, and I, became a big fan. Yeah. And so, and that's what I mean, man. It's just, horror is this unique, awesome, immortal elder god of itself that'll never die, and it'll take on a life on streaming services that we've never really kind of comprehended. I mean, it's much more now great, the fact that we can just watch whatever whenever we want and have a huge preference of what to watch, but that brings in the problem of what should you watch and when should you watch it, and if it's good enough. Well, we are one of those shows that you tune into to find out. So keep it in mind. I still stand my statement that if they're going to do this, they need to really focus on those directors, those people that know what they're doing in the indie scene, because Eli still frustrates the shit out of me. I'm never gonna let it go. There's so many plot holes with that fucking film. Like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Okay, man. Like, it's just like me with High Tension. I will no.
I have more reasons to hate Eli than you do High Tension. Mine's a whole section of a film. Mine isn't just an end. Mine's a literal whole section of why the fuck did this never come up to begin with? This motherfucking child has powers, and now it's happening when his life's in danger. What about the 12 other fucking times his life was in danger? No. Like,
that wasn't good enough. He wasn't bound yet.
Oh, dude. And then so like it just, like, there's so many things that are wrong with it. It doesn't make sense. Like, and just, like, I'm not even a fucking Satanist, and I know that I wouldn't want to fucking dick my kid like that. Like, I know Satan would want to dick his kid like that. Oh, you have to prove yourself? Fuck you. That was a good premise for Little Nicky, and that was a funny-ass movie. we got to see pineapples get shoved up people's asses, so...
Especially Hitler's.
Yeah, so fuck off. Like, I just, man, point being is when it comes to the realm of streaming services, it's still such a new and uncharted territory that we're just now making, footsteps on to figure out what can actually be done with it and if it's actually a good thing for the film genre. All I can say is if it does lead to the end of theaters as we know it, I mean, it's already taken out, Blockbuster.
Yeah, Hollywood Video.
Then that's going to be an interesting conversation to have when kids ask us, what was it like to go to a movie theater?
Oh my god, I know, right? Dude,
but here's one thing I will say.
I'm just saying, with the world as it is right now, I can definitely see movie theaters just like, and it's literally gonna I'm literally gonna watch, like, my kids grow up and be like, what was a movie theater? And I'm like, well, you see, it was when you paid $50 to go watch a movie we're about to watch right now for $10.
Yeah. And there was a gamble that you would like the movie, and there was a gamble you would actually be in a group of people that you actually wanted to be around or didn't mind being around. That's one thing I will give streaming services, is that I never had to deal with a fucking douchebag lining up his goddamn vape in front of the screen down below.
And you never have to deal with the people who bring their fucking newborn to a horror movie. Oh my god, when me and my dad went and watched The Hills Have Eyes for the first time, when the remake came out, someone brought their newborn in to see that movie.
Oh man.
Like, what the fuck?
You couldn't have waited for that one to come out on DVD?
No, they couldn't. You know, and it was also, I think that was like just before Netflix was coming out, so it's like, seriously?
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
You could have waited for DVD.
Alright, well. Oh man.
But yeah, so now I hope you got, educated you guys a little bit about the history of streaming. And you liked it.
Hope you enjoyed our musical that we had.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
That was my highlight.
I appreciate it. I'll make a whole album if it's requested enough. Songs in the Mind of Horror, brought to you by Matt. And it'll be one of those like fucking commercials for it where it's just like me sitting on like, and it's cliche, so it has to be me sitting on the stool with the background in a suit and be like
holding a corncob pipe.
Yeah, just like fading like camera shots and whatnot, just like overlapping footage, and just be like, am I the dream or the nightmare? I wonder they call me Freddy. What do I call myself when I'm alone? That's what I dream of, and yet I fear that nightmare.
What does Freddy dream of?
Other classics like I'll Get You, I'm Chucky, and if I stab you, it's because I need your flesh to live. You are my host that I wander after again.
Andy!
That's the interlude. That one is Andy.
Oh my god! So with the Jason Voorhees one, be like, my time at Camp Crystal Lake, and it's just silent. The entire time.
And everybody's favorite, a Friday night at Crystal Lake. It's just. Or it has to get really dark and screwed up, and it's just like a bunch of like teens getting killed. But it's like one of those like crudely like edited together YouTube like vids of like when they like have politicians. And they're like singing. It's like Obama singing a song, and it's like crudely edited together. So it'd be like, my throat. I'm not gonna.
I think I would rather have the Camp Crystal Lake sounds. It's just the fate, and
that is the sounds of Camp Crystal Lake.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. I thought it would just be one.
Yeah, him and Michael Myers is far worse. So. At least Jason has something going on. It is. And you don't even want to hear Leatherface. It's just a lot of yelling.
It's like, God damn it, Paul! Get the hammer! You should try the left buttock. It is the meatiest.
Yeah, that's fucking Leatherface. It's a fucking dubstep song of his own noises that he makes, and fucking the crazy shit his psycho family says.
Hit her in the head again, Paul. Oh yeah, I bet Hellraisers would be great.
So
dude, that would be the death metal one. You know that would be. Hellraiser would have to be.
Like, you would have to be clean vocals with like just like double bassing in the background and just like black metal chord progression.
Oh my god, no, it'd be like baby metal.
Yeah, just like, these sights to have seen. Don't waste your tears. It's a waste of pain and suffering.
I'd pay for that.
That'd be Butterball.
Butterball?
You remember? Because remember that?
Oh, yeah, jeez.
Because the Butterball's the only one that can be taken out with ceiling. Everyone else actually has to be taken out by the puzzle. This dumb bitch is taken out by fucking 2x4s.
Yep.
Just some, insulation.
I feel like Pinhead probably looked at him and then looked back at the people and was like, he's adopted.
This is why we changed your name to Butterball.
Yeah, this is why you'll never be truly one of us.
Oh, man. All right. Ghouls and gals, if you want to hear more sweet horror musicals, you can let us know by following us and liking us on Facebook, Punk Rock Horror Podcast, or on Twitter @officialprhp, or
on Instagram, Punk Rock Horror Podcast, #PRHP Podcast.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that at The Undead Matt and request more songs for me to sing or make up on the spot, and I'll do my best to do that for you. I might just dedicate it to you if you actually shoot me a DM and ask me to do so. That being said, if you want to support the show in a financial way, please jump over to our Patreon, patreon.com/punkrockhorrorpodcast. We have tiers available from $2 to $8 each with their own rewards. Our $8 has a mystery box where we make your own very own customized box that is special to you with a note that is directed towards you, thanking you, and personalized for you, filled with goodies and a mystery horror movie that we have recently reviewed on the show, along with the fact that you can get content before anyone else. You'll get 50% discount on all merch and more goodies. Other news is hopefully by the time you're hearing this episode, within the following days, we're actually going to have a new shirt available on our Teespring. The lovely Megan, our artist, she's so amazing, made a new image for us to put on a shirt, and it's one that we're really excited about. It's definitely, it's got kaijus, it's got ducks, it's got Cody involved, it's a whole thing. You're gonna love it, and she did a beautiful job with it. That in mind,
Right, fuck them ducks.
Fuck them ducks. That in mind, we want to give a huge thank you to our team at the Punk Rock Horror Podcast. They have been been doing amazing lately with just keeping up with the hectic nature of everything going on. They've been fantastic at just responding and just helping keeping this shit moving. So a huge thank you to seriously everybody.
Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much.
Freddie, Leo, Haley, Amaya, Lala, Aaron, Anna, everybody, you're fantastic. We love the shit out of you, and so I just want you to know that and give a huge thank you out to them. And thank you again, Ghouls, Gals, Creeps, and Mutants, for just hanging out with us and supporting us and talking with us. Sorry we didn't have a call-in today. Hopefully we'll have one next time. But with that in mind, we appreciate you hanging out with us and letting us talk about horror with you. Take care of yourselves, and good night!
Good night.